So this is my first time filming at night with my softbox lights, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, I have zero idea what I'm doing. I've spent the last hour playing on this camera trying to make the lighting right. I don't know. I don't know if this looks good, it doesn't look good. I'm sorry, basically. I'm very sorry for the horrific lighting in this video, but I have to film this tonight, because if I don't film it tonight then this topic is just completely irrelevant and I want to film it. So apologies, I hope you can forgive me, don't hate me. This is my second Pretty Little Liars theory video. This was going to be my final theory. This is what I think is going to happen, and then I've been all this morning reading up on theories and my brain has fried and I have no idea what's going to happen, to be honest. Also, please excuse how fluffy my hair is. It's a floof today. It's so floofy and it won't flatten down. So life. So a rundown of this video, I'm going to talk through the promo for the final episode. The final episode is 2 hours long. The promo is chock full of really interesting little spoilers and bits. And then I've got two theories that I want to talk about, one in loads of depth and one is just sort of like refreshing on one that I mentioned in my last video. I have already filmed a Pretty Little Liars video. I'll link it up here. It will also be in the dab bar down below, so you can go and watch that. You don't have to, but I think it'll be quite interesting for you to get some sort of backstories on some of the other theories I've had, because they're very, very interesting. First thing I want to say though is about last week's episode, episode 19. Now in this episode we found out loads of really interesting stuff. It was sort of the end of AD as we know them. The end of the episode showed AD just driving away with his little figurines of the girls into the sunset, which is very romantic. So this whole series has been pretty much based around AD wants to know who killed Charlotte. So obviously AD is somebody who is close to Charlotte. AD has been very emotionally invested in Charlotte's death, so she has definitely touched AD's heart in some way in the past, which is something interesting to bear in mind, I think, when you're thinking of theories. But we found out that Mona killed Charlotte. Now, I personally don't think that Mona did kill Charlotte. I think everything that happened, well, everything we saw that happened did happen, but I don't think Charlotte was dead at this point. I'm pretty sure that we have already found out what the murder weapon for Charlotte was. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Like, if I say anything wrong, then please feel free to nicely correct me down below, because there's a lot of information I need to remember and my brain is a sieve. But I'm pretty sure we found out that the murder weapon was the suitcase handle, and that I'm sure the police said that was the murder weapon. But in this episode it showed that she didn't get killed by being hit over the head with a suitcase handle. She was like slammed into the wall and hit her neck, which killed her. Which, can you die from like hitting your neck? Is that a thing? I'm sure if you hit it hard enough, but is that actually, I don't know. Where it left off with Charlotte's death last episode is Charlotte was lying on top of the bell tower and Mona was crying, pulling off the leaves or petals of the roses. But Charlotte was found at the bottom of the church tower, like on the ground. She had roses in her hand. Now, why would Mona go to the effort of pushing Charlotte to the ground? Charlotte's already dead. She's lying on the floor, already dead. She's lying on the floor at the top of the tower, so why would Mona go to the extra effort of pushing her off the side? I personally think that somebody else was there, somebody overheard everything, Mona thought she killed Charlotte, ran away, and then somebody went back up to finish it off. If I could have any guesses as to who that is, I'd say it'd be Arya or Ezra, or even both of them. Ezra, I reckon, is most likely. But I'd love to know how Charlotte got from the top of that tower to the bottom, because why would Mona just push her? It doesn't make any sense. Like, she's already dead, leave her at the top. So moving on to the finale promo trailer that we've all seen, or if you haven't seen it, I'll leave it linked down below, or just give it a quick search in the YouTube bar, because you want to watch that. It's very, very interesting. So a big thing to bear in mind is that the finale is actually a year ahead. They have a year time jump between episode 19 and episode 20. So lots of points to talk about in this trailer. I'm just going to speedily get through them, otherwise I could be talking for hours. Number one is that there's a clip of Arya crying, and she's saying, "I can't marry Ezra." But if you listen carefully, it actually sounds like she's saying she can't bury Ezra. Now, there's been a big theory going around for a long time that Ezra dies in this final episode. To be honest, I definitely think Ezra does die. Somebody dies. The episode is called Till Death Do Us Part, and Till Death Do Us Part is part of the wedding vows. So somebody who's getting married dies. So Ezra and Arya get married. Ezra dies. I'm pretty sure of this. But even if Ezra doesn't die and Arya isn't saying, "I can't bury Ezra," why can't she marry Ezra? What's Ezra done that suddenly Arya's like, "I can't marry him anymore"? he's done something bad, I reckon. Which moves us swiftly along to our next point, is that Ren shoots somebody. In the promo, it shows Ren with a gun with a silencer on the end, and he has shot somebody who's about to shoot somebody. My bet is that it's Ezra he shoots. Ren either finds out that Ezra's involved with AD somehow and shoots Ezra to protect Melissa and Spencer, or Ezra's found out that Ren's involved and Ren's protecting himself by killing Ezra and shooting him. One of those two. One of them is involved, I can guarantee. Mary stabs Spencer, which is interesting because Mary is supposed to be in jail for homicide. It's only a year jump. Mary will not have served an entire sentence for homicide in this time, so chances are Mary's escaped from prison and she's found Spencer and stabbed her in the neck with a needle, and then Spencer suddenly wakes up in a hospital bed. Why would Mary stab Spencer in the neck with a needle? They have ended things on pretty good terms, unless Mary's finally figured out that Spencer isn't actually Spencer and it's Spencer's twin. Moving on, Mona slaps Spencer in this episode. Something's going on with Spencer. Everyone seems to hate her at the moment. Why would Mona slap her? Also, Jenna is back, and also Addison Derringer is back as well, which is really weird. I don't know why such a minor character would be in the promo for the finale unless she had something more to do with it. I hope she doesn't, because she's so minor. I'd be so angry if they just bring in somebody random in the final series and they end up being AD. Can you imagine? But Addison features with Jenna, and Jenna actually reaches forward and grabs Addison's wrist. Now, Jenna's supposed to be blind. I have this massive theory that Jenna is actually still seeing. What? I have a theory that Jenny can still see. I've thought this ever since the beginning. I'm pretty sure she has never been blind, or if she was blind for a very, very short amount of time and then realised she could use her blindness in her favour. Also, talking of theories I've had since the beginning, I am sure Maya's still alive, and if Maya's not alive, I'm going to be so angry, and I'm pretty sure she's probably not because they would have mentioned it by now, but I want Maya to be alive so bad. Finally, in the trailer, you see that Melissa is back. Melissa is on a ranch with a horse wearing a very fancy cowboy shirt. So Melissa's back, which is shocking because I didn't think she was going to be back this series, but here she is. So for me, this promo is taking us in two directions. It is either Spencer or it is Ezra. If it's Ezra, Ren's involved somehow. If it's Spencer, then she's got a twin. I still have no idea. It is crazy. I thought by this point I would have a fully formed theory going on in my head, but I don't know. So next up, I'm going to talk about my Ezra theory and my Ezra dies theory. He definitely dies in this episode. If he's not the one who dies, I'm going to be very, very shocked. Ezra's one of my favourite characters, so I'll be kind of gutted if he does die, but I think that would make for the best storyline at this point. If you watched my last video, you will know of the awkward airport scene, which I mentioned a few times. I think this scene is something that is very, very important in the final theory, final storyline of the show. I don't know why, it was just very weird. For you, those of you who don't know, in a nutshell, Spencer was meeting up with Ren in the airport, random. Spencer was acting weird, she was wearing different clothes from what she was wearing in the scene before. Definitely a twin, in my opinion. And then Ezra turns up, and Ezra's chatting to Ren, and it's awkward and weird, and like Spencer introduces them, but it's kind of obvious they already know each other. And then there's a bit with all the flights are on the screen at the airport, and there's no flight to where Ezra said he was going to go. I think he said he was going to Maine, but there was no flight to Maine on the screen, which is dodgy because he told Ari he was going to Maine, and he clearly wasn't. But something to bear in mind with this scene actually is Troy Ambassario, who plays Spencer, actually directed this entire episode. So I firmly believe that anything that Spencer does, particularly in this episode, is very deliberate. I don't think anything in this episode would have been a mistake. Spencer or Troyan acted the hell out of it, and it wasn't Spencer in this scene particularly. It's all very, very weird. There's some strange goings on. That whole episode is very, very important. I think it was like 7:15 or something, episode 15, 16, I'll put it down below. Another reason I think Ezra dies in this episode is there's actually a photo floating around the internet that shows Ian Harding, who plays Ezra, with blood sort of here. So if he is shot, he would have been shot in the head, because that's the most dramatic way of doing it, clearly. And he has sort of blood all around here, and it could probably be from any series, only he's standing next to Sasha, who plays Ali, and Sasha has a fringe, which is really interesting because she actually has a fringe in this flash forward like year, whereas she doesn't beforehand, I don't think. I'm suddenly doubting everything. I don't think she does. But Sasha has a fringe, Ian has blood. It's got to be when they're filming this last episode. And if Ian has blood here, Ezra is dead because nobody survives a gunshot wound to the head. Okay, so Ezra theories. I am very, very intrigued by the whole Ezra is a thing. I think it would be very, very interesting. I don't have a crazy solid theory, but I do have a lot of points I want to brush over, and then I'll leave a lot of theories down below, which you can go and have a look at on Tumblr and stuff. So a big theory that I've seen floating around is that Charlotte wasn't actually Charles. Charlotte pretended to be Charles to protect the real Charles. Now this is a bit far-fetched, I think, and I'll be a bit annoyed if this is true, because they basically made an entire series based off Cece being Charlotte, being Charles, and my mind can't handle that. But hear me out. So Charlotte lied and pretended to be Charles. Charles was actually adopted at birth by the Fitzgeralds, who raised him as Ezra. Ezra is then cut off from his family, and his other brother Wes isn't, because Wes is their biological child and they love him more, and so Ezra has all these bitter feelings towards the Fitzgeralds who raised him. He doesn't even take their name because he doesn't want to be associated with them. He just basically hates them, and I'm not really sure how that links to him hating everyone else, but that could be the fact that he's adopted. It's late, guys. It's like 10:30 at night. I'm really trying here. So if Ezra was cut off by his parents, he still seems to have a never-ending amount of money. His parents are very rich, but he's not getting his money from them because it's been pointed out quite a lot of times that he is cut off. He is an ex-teacher. He owns a coffee house. Like, how could he afford a coffee house on a teacher's salary? It makes no sense at all. So a big thing, which I read this theory this morning and I freaking love this theory, and if this is true, I'm going to be so happy. I went around work today, told everyone about the theory, and everyone seemed to really like it as well, so bear with me here. Do you remember the N.a.t. Club? That was a big, big thing back in like series 1, 2, maybe even 3. N.a.t. stood for, this is Latin here, Nos Anima Devero Totus, which actually means we see all. I don't speak very good Latin, clearly, but it means we see all, which is basically AD's thing, is it not? AD sees everything, AD knows everything. It is exactly the same concept as the N.a.t. Club. If they are the same thing, I will be so happy, because that will just be a leading storyline from series 1 right through to the end. All the loose ends will be able to be easily tied up with this. What if the N.a.t. Club turned into a business? What if it is sort of an underground entertainment thing? It's a Big Brother style. They lead the girls into these dangerous situations so they can film it, and it's sort of a voyeuristic style entertainment underground thing. I don't know how to explain it without it sounding really crazy, but there's an amazing theory which I'll put down below. Please read it. So think about it this way. If the N.a.t. Club is a business, there's a lot of people involved. Jenna, Ezra, Ali could potentially even be involved. What if it was all Ali's idea? Ali decided to run away and pretend to die to kickstart this crazy entertainment, like, just for entertainment. Crazy, I don't know. I feel like I'm just repeating words now. Lucas, Jenna, Noel, Wilden, Ezra, Mona, like, everyone could potentially be involved. Everyone could know what's going on apart from the girls. It would be the craziest thing, but if they explained it well, I think this theory could be spot on. I think it could explain everything. AD could even stand for like assistant director or something really crazy far-fetched like that. What if all the people have been placed in the girls' lives to push them into these situations so they can get like the good entertainment, the good shots from it. Throughout the series, the same props have been used over and over again. In the dollhouse, they use props that they used sort of in the girls' houses and all this stuff. What if they literally are that? Like, they literally are props. This theory gets me so excited, and I want it to be true so bad. Whoever thought of this is a genius. There's barely any information apart from the one theory that I saw online. Marlene said she's only ever seen that one theory on what actually A is. So if it is this one, I'm going to be so crazy happy. Please tell me down below if you think this is like crazy far-fetched, or if it actually could be a thing. What if AD is a business? That's where they're getting the money. The Karasimi group was a front for the N.a.t. group. Like, It would explain everything. It literally would explain everything, and I think it would be so cool. So pretend that one isn't real. Sorry, I'm like flip-flopping all over the place. What if it's just Ezra? Ezra has a bit of a hero complex. What if Ezra just puts all the girls into these situations just to save them again? There's a lot of Lolita parallels with Ezra. Obviously, he like fell in love with Arya when she was like 16, which is weird. There's also a lot of references all throughout PLL to Alfred Hitchcock. I can't say it, I've tried to say this like 100 times. Alfred Hitchcock, there you go, films, but in particular one of the films, Rear Window. Now if you've never seen Rear Window, it's about a photographer who breaks his leg and gets sort of like trapped inside his apartment because he can't really go out because he's got a broken leg. So he spends all day, every day, just watching through the window and observing people. Very voyeuristic. The guy, I can't remember the guy's name, he sees something going on between a neighbour and his wife, and he thinks a neighbour's killed his wife. Now weirdly enough, the neighbour's actually called Emma Thorwald, and if you remember the dream scene, you know that scene where all the girls run in an alley while she's writing Mrs. Rollins on the board? If you look to the left of the screen, on that side, Ali's actually written all of the aliases that she's used over the years. There's Vivian Darkbloom, there's the other one she's used that I can't remember, but Emma Thorwald actually appears at the bottom of the screen. That is a direct link to Rear Window, and Ezra's brew, the coffee house, is called Rear Window View. What? That's just a very obvious link. Now that is all for my Ezra theory that I'm going to mention. I have more notes, but otherwise this video is going to be way too long, so I've already been filming this for half an hour. But moving on to my Twinser theory, I mentioned my Twinser theory a lot in my last video. If the N.a.t. Club theory is true, then I don't really see where the Spencer/Twinser theory could come into it. But I definitely think that Spencer has a twin. If it ends up that Spencer doesn't have a twin, or somebody hasn't been imitating Spencer, then it's going to be kind of a letdown because there's been so much leading up to that. I don't really have much more to say about that theory. I think everything I had to say I said in my last video, so just go and watch that. But a bit of a plot twist I came up with is, what if Twinser isn't an evil person? What if they're not even directly linked to AD? What if they're just trying to keep Spencer safe? What if they've hidden Spencer away and now they're trying to get to the root of who AD is? And I don't know. That is a very loose theory, but I'm all theoried out. I think my particular favourite theory at the moment is the M80 Club theory. I know I only read about it this morning, but it would make so much sense. If it's not that, then I'm thinking Ezra on his own, which I never ever thought before the last couple of weeks, but very convinced. Ren, I would love it to be Ren so much. Arya, I would love it to be Arya. She has been my favourite character since the beginning. I love everything she does. I don't think there's been enough to point to it being Arya, but if it is her, I will be a very happy bean. But my camera's flashing at me, I need to make a decision. I'm going to go with Twinster theory. That is my theory for the moment. Oh my god. Let me know if you want me to film a live reaction video when I'm watching Pretty Little Liars on Wednesday. I'm so crazy excited to watch it. Like, so many years of my life is going to be over. I'm going to know who AD is. It's like when I found out who Gossip Girl was. Oh, can't deal. I'm so excited, guys. I hope this video has made sense. I know it's just a bit of word vomit and it's late at night and the lighting sucks and everything is kind of awful, but please forgive me. Twinser. Come on, Twinser theory. I'm rooting for you. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Talk to me down below. Subscribe, all that jazz. Bye.